is what's happening. Oh, that wasn't even filming. Today, we're going to be painting a Christmas koala. Over the weekend, I ran a watercolor workshop and my sister and my mum just happened to come along. While they were there, my sister asked me, and I'm not sure if she was joking, but she asked if I could teach people how to paint a Christmas koala. And I was like, no, that sounds way too hard. But then when I got home, I was like, actually, no, I could do that. So we're going to be painting a Christmas koala. And I'm trying to practice not cutting out all the mishaps along the way. So enjoy seeing me as I am. Yeah, so we're using the watercolor supplies, the supplies from my watercolor kits, including the paper, brushes, and paint. And I've got 2 water jars. I've got a video about that. I've also got a cloth for blotting. And I am going to have my little koala friend sitting here to remind me what the heck I'm actually painting. Whew, I'm hot. I was pretending to be a fly and my son was being a spider and he was eating me. Okay, I'm going to begin with a grey, and you can mix up your own grey, but I've got some here ready to go, so I'm just going to use those. So I'm using a size 6 round brush. I'm grabbing my grey on my brush, grabbing heaps of grey so it's super duper wet, but there's lots of water on the brush. For whatever reason, I feel like I need to start with the belly of the koala, so I'm just doing some big, broad brush strokes. I'm now going to add in some little koala arms. And I think on my first version of this, I think my brush was a bit more dry. And so there were more little bits of white space to look like fur created with the brush strokes. Whereas this time I've sort of created a big puddle to create the belly of the koala. So everything I paint is different every time. And the koala is getting wider and wider because this arm ended up super wide. And now I have to widen up the other one. All right, so now I'm going to do the koala's head. So I'm just creating this all just using the brush freehand, making it up as I go and hoping that things will end up roughly where they should. At the moment, this kind of just looks like a grey teddy, but once it dries a little bit more, I'll be able to add in the big koala nose. That will make it clearly a koala and not a regular old teddy. While that dries, I'm gonna have a crack at a koala hugging a tree. Totally winging this. So now I'm painting the belly of the koala, lots of brush strokes and a similar style to before, creating the shape of the belly with my brush, but I'm just making sure the brush is a little bit drier so that I end up with a bit more variety between my brush strokes and stuff, and a little bit more lightness, more white space between some of the brush strokes. Now I'm going to paint the koala's leg. So I guess the tree will be behind the koala's belly, and then the other leg will be like behind that tree there. So we'll just pop the koala's arm around it. Okay, so now I'm going to paint our koala's head. We'll pop the face on later. I'm going to let this koala dry, and I'll come back to the other koala. Hopefully is dry. It's not, but I'll show you what happens if you paint your details onto paper that is still wet. Now my paper is kind of buckling under the water, but I'm just going to hold it down. I'm going to use my little teeny tiny brush with a size 2. Whoops, and I missed the jar. All right, grabbing some black onto the brush. I'm going to paint my koala's nose, which is kind of just a rectangle. And I'm grabbing a little bit of paint on the tip of the brush for the 2 dots for eyes. So just a thin line, and I'm going to add a couple of little brush strokes on the ears. This koala is hilarious. Okay, so I'm grabbing some red here and create a hat shape. And I've actually left a bit of a gap between the triangle, the hat, and the koala's head, so that negative space is like the fluffy white bit on the Santa hat. And I'm just going to use the red on the tip of my brush to create the edges of that fluffy Santa hat. And I'm going to do the same thing to add the little pom just to blend it, I guess. I'm just going to dab a little bit of grey. And I think that koala is super cute. I think it has like a lot of personality. Our other koala should be theoretically dry-ish, and I'm going to grab black and repeat the same process. And I'm going to add some eyebrows because I love adding little eyebrows to my koalas. Should have done that before. You know what, I'm going to do that now. Okay, I'll just add a little tiny bit of detail, and then I'm going to paint the Santa hat and I'll chuck a tree behind the koala. And now we've got to try and work out how to add this tree. I'm just going to have to paint some brown behind the koala and see what happens. I'm going to use a bigger brush for this. I'm going to paint some brush strokes behind the koala. When I change between browns, I'm just going to use the brush with just some water on it to kind of blend between them. I don't want to overwork the paint either. Koala's hat's still wet and the tree has touched the koala, so now they're blending. But that's actually really cool. I kind of like that messy, sort of free and flowing effect. I think I actually want to add a bit more water to make it a bit more loose looking around the edges so they're not so harsh. But here we go, cute little Christmas koala on a gum tree and also a super chuffed Christmas koala. I hope you had heaps of fun, and I've actually got some more Christmas tutorials. I've put together a mini course and these are the things. Oh, hey Freddie. Freddie's just woken up from a nap. Oh my God. Playing with a car toy. We'll be painting Christmas trees, gingerbread folk and Christmas puddings. Will has made a gingerbread baking video so that you can make your own and have a cup of tea while you paint. This is what's happening. Oh. That wasn't even filming. These are what you'll paint. Gingerbread people, Christmas pudding, Christmas tree. What? Yeah, he had to sleep real quick. See, I was just telling everyone about the course. This wasn't filming. He came out and that's me playing. If you like the sound of that and you're still listening, come and have a go at the course. It's awesome. Also, if you buy a watercolor kit for Christmas by the 10th December, you get the course for free. Complimentary watercolor course with your kit. And the kit is a perfect present either for you or someone else.